Good afternoon, learners. We are now looking at a solid geometrical shape. This is a very mid-range solid that you can expect in grade 10, maybe a starting solid that you can expect in grade 11. Either or, it should fit perfectly in demonstration for both of the grades because it is very similar to what you are doing in both. First of all, let's have a look at the instruction. The front view and auxiliary view of a right regular hexagonal pyramid. The pyramid is cut by an inclined plane AB. Draw the following views of the solid: the given front view, the sectional top view, and project the true shape of the cut surface. So most of you should have already done this. This might have been already past your curriculum. You already did this maybe in the term. That's fine. This is preparation. Your exams are coming up at some point. Maybe by the end of the year, you have your finals, and just a recap on these drawings really assist and help you. So first of all, this is a copy piece. I expect you at this point to be able to copy the auxiliary view or the old top view, right? The auxiliary view of the shape that we are busy with. So starting off, once you have the auxiliary view, you have your XY axis that separates the two. We can actually have a look at the drawing. So starting off with this drawing, we have to find out what the angle is that the auxiliary is placed. So currently it's situated on a 30-degree angle. So something that you guys can maybe do, maybe it's news to some of you, but it can help you. The pictorial view that you see here is always drawn up to a scale, right? Not the right scale. You have to redraw the drawing up to the right scale. But it's drawn not to scale. But the angles that you see there are always going to be what you need to do. So if you take your T-square and one of your set squares, you can line it up to that, your auxiliary view or your pictorial view here, sorry, and you can see what the angles are, right? If you don't know how to calculate it or see it. So the first thing that we have to do is we have to project all these points up to the base. Let me just extend the baseline in construction all the way out like that. That way I know where to stop with my drawing. So the apex point goes all the way to the top. The base, these 2 points, only go up to where the base is. I need to project these points up because ultimately I am going to need the auxiliary view and the XY to get the top view. Okay, so there is the baseline. The measurement that I have here is 65 millimeters. Please don't try and draw or measure the 65 on the angled line. It always has to be on a perpendicular line or what the angle is. So 65 millimeters from the midpoint here, all the way up to there. Then you can go ahead and you can copy the drawing. So the front view that we see here are always going to be an A quality drawing, because nothing is going to happen or change on the drawing. All the detail that you need is on there. Alright, so there's the base drawing. The measurement where the inclined plane starts is 15 millimeters from this side here. So we can go ahead. Measure 15, and then that is a straight line. Okay, please remember to use chained lines for this. And then at the end, you thicken the line 3 or 4 millimeters. You thicken the line 3 or 4 millimeters, and then you add a for the cutting plane. Alright, next step is always going to be the label. So labeling, I like to have my point 1 starting on one of the corners. This is always going to be top because it's an apex point. I'm going to start with point 1 here, going clockwise 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Remember, as this moves onto the XY, it kind of gets stuck. Think of it as you are putting your foot into the ground and you are kind of dragging it behind you as to form a trench, and then it kind of gets stuck on a rock or something, and then it lifts up or you fall over. So here you have this point is now pointing towards you like this, right? The apex point. It's moving onto the XY and it just falls down. So you are looking at point 6 here, 1, you are looking at 5, that's the line you are seeing, 2 at the back, you are looking at 4, 3 at the back. And then we also like to label the incline plane. We don't typically have to do this, but it really helps. So where it cuts here, I'm labeling it A, cuts there, B, cuts there, C. Then we can go ahead and we can project the front view down. So we are drawing the top view now. Right, all the corners where the numbers are, you project that down. So now you should have a bunch of lines here at the bottom, but how do you start your top view? The first thing is, now you have to grab a piece of paper. Let me just see if I can get one here. Right, you're going to grab a piece of paper. You are going to line it up with the XY axis and your auxiliary view here, so it's in the same degree. Then you are going to make a mark here and label it X, Y. So if I take that away, you can see there's my XY point. Now every single time this line comes down from the XY to there and to there on the auxiliary. So this is point 1 and 6. Take it up. Remember your XY still has to stay in line with the XY here. So from here you have a point on top and all the way here on 6 and on 2. So this is point 2, that's top, that's 5. Then you move it up, so point 1 and 6. This one shares a point with 3, this one shares a point with 4. So now you go ahead and look at the lines that you've projected. Now typically what I want you to do is, I want you to take this point that you labeled T and label it here as well as it comes down. This line represents top. This line represents 6 and 1. This line represents 2 and 5 because it connects up here as it comes down. This one represents 3 and 4. So this is now also an XY axis that you have here that you're going to redraw. So this XY that you've made there has to now correlate with the one you have here. So if I put my page so it lines up, this XY lines up here, this is line top. So where am I going to make my mark? On top there. So as I make the mark, you label it T. Then you have 6 and 1. So XY, this is 6 and 1. You label it 1, 6. Next one is going to be 2 and 5. So XY, 2, 5. 2 and 5. And the last one is 4 and 3. So 3, 4. And once you have all those points, you can go ahead and you connect the base, which is going to be a hexagon shape. So do this in construction because you are going to erase some of this, or there's some of the lines that you don't want to be a quality line because some of them is at the bottom of the drawing. Alright, and all those points that you have also goes to the apex point because we are busy with the pyramid. So 1, so here we have all the points that points towards that apex point. Now there is a few things that I want to test, that I want you to see. This is actually pretty cool. Right, you should start seeing some sort of optical illusion here. It depends on where you are focusing on your drawing. If you are focusing on point 1 and 6 intensely as if this is the top point, then you will see that you are kind of seeing the hole, right, or the backside of the solid, and it looks like it's pointing down like this. But if you focus on 3 and 4 as if that is the highest point, then it should start looking like this is pointing up towards you. In the worst case scenario, it might look like it's pointing straight. So take a minute and look at it. 1 and 6 should be pointing down. 3 and 4 looks like it's pointing straight, or it should be pointing up. That gives you indication on what you are looking at. So currently, point 4 and 3 is all the way at the top of the drawing, which means that is going to be hypothetically the A quality line that you see, which means 1 going to 2, 1 to 6, 6 to 5 is hidden detail because it falls at the bottom of the drawing. So this is where you have to indicate the hidden detail to me. Like that. That means 1 going to top and 6 going to top will also be hidden detail. You won't see those 2 points as it's going to be at the bottom of the drawing. Now we can go ahead. We're not going to fill anything in A quality yet because we have a few cutting to do, right? There's something that's been cut away, everything that's at the top there. So the first thing is A comes down, and it cuts between 6 going to top and 1 going to top. So A, this is 6 at the back, and that's 1. Right, 6 to top, 1 to top, and this is called A. Then we have B, which cuts on 2 to top and 5 to top, so it's on the outside, 2 and 5, B. And the last one is C, which cuts through the base, and the rule if it cuts through the base, the shape has to change. So I already know it's going to be an A quality line that cuts away that last 2 points there, C and C. And without having to wonder what you need to do, A, you connect your incline plane or your cutting plane together. So A goes to B, and B goes to C, and so forth, all the way around your drawing. Okay, so that's going to be the cutting plane that you have. Now we can have a look and see what will be visible and what won't. So for instance, from this point all the way to 3 and 4, is that still visible? Remember, this is being removed from my drawing. So this won't be visible anymore. So will I see C going to 3 and C going to 4? No, that has been removed. So everything else you will see, right? We've already indicated what's going to be hidden detail. Those points goes up to A, but they are still at the back. You will see B to 2 to C, B to 5 to C. That's A quality. It's important to do this little checks, because here you can kind of see if your drawing is working out. Otherwise you are leaving it incomplete, and that is not what we want. Right, the hidden detail obviously can be maybe slightly darker. It depends. If it's B quality, you are 100% correct. The hatching has to take place with a 45-degree angle. Inside of the cutting plane, you can choose where you want to start. I'm going to use 5 millimeters for the space. And there we go. There's the hatching done, the hidden detail done, and my top view done. So now, in order for me to get the Trueshape, I'm going to use the same page where I got these measurements. Just going to make a little deviation here, and then I'm going to put this on the cutting plane. So exactly, doesn't matter how the cutting plane is, you just line it up. A, B, C. So A, B, and C. And then you put this on the left hand side of your drawing here. So A, B, C. A, B, C. If you don't have space on your drawing, and let's say you did something a side view and you had a 45 degree, you can just erase the 45 degree angle and then do exactly the same thing. So once we've plotted those points, the majority of you, I believe, should have a good idea, if you've already done this, how this works. The unfortunate thing is, if you are doing your initial cut on the top view wrong, it means your Trueshape is also not going to look correct because you are using the same template. So C goes onto point C here. There's C. B goes onto B. A goes onto A. So you should see all those points. We can already just draw a little line here, and then we label it Trueshape in capital letters. Trueshape. Right, so fortunately, this shape, if I were to take this and put it on this drawing, it's going to look exactly like this cutting plane. The reason for this is the cutting plane that I have here is already horizontal, so it's already a true length line. Whereas if it was a bit on an angle, then this would have been stretched out a bit. So the same principle applies. You now have to hatch this using a 45 degree angle. Alright, you've labeled it, you've drawn your true shape. That is absolutely I almost want to say the most difficult you can get it, but the majority of learners should be able to do this. When it gets to the left or the right view, it might be a bit problematic, but we'll look at this in a separate video. I hope this helps, and especially when the exam comes around, don't feel that you cannot leave a comment or maybe ask some questions in the comment section. You're more than welcome. That's one way to feel out the atmosphere, to know what you are struggling with and to know how I can assist you. You're more than welcome, if I teach you for class, to come to me and so we can deal with these problems. We really need to address the issues, right? We can't wait for, and I like to say this, we can't wait for Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. You have to start now.